Hello guys, my name is Leo Lukac and I basically made a game called Horror Game, Survival Horror Game, and here's all text that is included in the game. I will be explaining each one of them. So let's start from the hunger system. The hunger system, about the hunger system, the first thing what I did is I created a survival hut widget, and basically I was doing testing with the code where the health goes down while the game starts. So here's the hunger, and then here's the stamina, objectives, flash battery widget, and of course the inventory system. So for hunger system I have a hunger bar empty picture and hunger bar normal picture. This one is a bit lighter, this is a bit darker. So for my graph, so this is my hunger system. So what happens here is it gets the percentage from 0. It casts the third person character, which is our third person character in the game. Of course we need to get player character reference, which is the object, and then of course our target will be player hunger, which we created a variable. It's a float, I think, and then we divide it by 100, which basically divides the number by 100, giving us the percentage of the value. I'm not really being very explainable, but that's how it works. So that's the hunger there. And then of course I also need to do it for my third person character. So player hunger, it's connected to the sequence 0, the first sequence. Every program has 0, which is first. So what happens is there's an if statement. So if it's true, there will be a delay, 3-second delay, and then the player hunger will go by -2. So every 3 seconds it's gonna go by -2. And if it's false, basically if player is greater than 1, and that's true, it's gonna go down every 3 seconds. And if it's false, then it's just gonna display a message: you died, set game to paused. This is checked, of course, and of course, which I will cover later, it's gonna show the end screen. So here's the example of the hunger system. Alright, so as you can see, the hunger is going down by -2 by every 3 seconds. So 1, 2, 3, 1, 2, 3. See, it's going down. That means it's working. And that's the basically hunger system. On my second thing, I created food pickups where you get this picture, which I created the material, a actor. Basically in here I have the viewport of a hamburger picture. It's a PNG picture, and then we have a event graph where it has the box overlap. So what happens, we get the actor to the object, cast as third person character. We get the variable player hunger, so when a player steps it gets 25 health, and then if the player hunger is more than 100, it won't really add. It will set the health to thingy, but if it's false, it will destroy the actor regardless if it's 100 or not. And that's the same thing for the full hunger pickup, which is the same, but instead of 25 you get 50 HP. And then in third person character we don't really have anything about it. No really. So when the player steps on it, let's find it, there you go. So if you look at my health, it's gonna fill up. There you go, filled up. And then we also do these ones. There you go, that's the end. So in this video we're gonna talk about the hut. The hut is basically consists of labels, just labels. Some invincible, and never mind about that. Flash battery, control, inventory, and hunger, stamina, and that's basically progress bars and buttons, texts. So that's the HUD. That's the whole the HUD. I'll be explaining each part throughout the videos. But that's the HUD, as you can see. That's the HUD. There you go. To make sure my fast passing camera would work, I needed to go to my third person character viewport. I needed to add the camera and then basically set the projection mode to perspective, field of view 90 degrees, and parent socket to the head. Alright, from my stamina bar and sprint functionality, I have created the separate progress bar for stamina bar empty here, stamina bar normal. Of course, when it's empty it will show this, and if it's full it will show this. Because it's a progress bar, it's gonna fill this up with the animation, which I did not really touch it does it by itself. And the stamina is here. So if the player, of course it's to fill up the percentage, it's gonna divide by 100. It's the same thing for the health bar as well. So what happens is we go to third person character. This is the sprint. So I created an input key, which is it's gonna open instance. So I created a sprint action mapping, sprint left shift, and then if the key is pressed, it's gonna make this branch a true statement and let it sprint when it's gonna be walking speed 1200, and then get the character movement. And then if it's released, it's not gonna let this character sprint anymore, and the speed's gonna be normal to 600. There's an if statement, which is like if player stamina is greater equal to 1, it will let the player sprint. Yeah, it will let the player sprint, and if it's not, that means it doesn't have enough stamina to sprint. And for stamina, it's basically here sequence 1, where if the sprint is on true, there's gonna be 0.2 delay, and if it's less than equal to 0, player stamina will be get. There's another if statement, of course. It will -1 the stamina, and if it's like, if this is true, then it's not gonna let the player sprint, and then normal speed will be 600. And for here, if the sprint is false, and then it's just not gonna let the, I mean, this is regeneration. It goes back to 100, and this is where it loses when the player sprints. And then of course here's the example. This is normal walking 600 speed, and this is sprint 1200, and you can see the stamina, it's literally running out. And then of course I'm stopping, I can't run anymore, it goes back to 600, it doesn't run anymore. That's the end of the stamina functionality. It's pretty fast forward when you explain, but when you code it takes ages.